And I think with that, I think hopefully we have Dr. Scott D. on the line, and he will speak to his research regarding survival of some of these pathogens in shipments across oceans.
Scott, are you still on the conference line? Can you?
Yes, I am here. I really enjoyed that lecture. That was great.
Thank you.
Okay, I have your first slide up here, and the room can hear you, and it's also being fed through to the folks online. So take it away.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you. I have great respect for the Indiana Board of Animal Health. Many reasons, but as usual, they're leading the way, being very proactive with education, looking to do things ahead of the crisis. It's really great. And when I heard this meeting was planned, I reached out to Dr. Marsh and just asked if I could possibly help. And we came to the agreement that maybe one slide of information would be helpful for you today. And that's what's on the screen. And let me explain a little bit about this slide. This project really came about from our vet group wondering if viruses were being moved around in feed from farm to farm, but also from country to country perhaps. And we're quite convinced that's how PED got into the country, and we were wondering if other viruses could survive over the ocean. So we set up some models, laboratory models. So this isn't Scott on a boat sailing across the ocean, but this is trying to simulate whether viruses can live in feed when they're moving from China to the U.S. or moving from Eastern Europe to the U.S. And what this slide shows is who survived the journey and who didn't. And so if we just look at this slide very simply, on the left-hand side, you see ingredients. These are ingredients that we import into the United States from China, from Eastern Europe. You can see soy products, DVGs, amino acids, vitamins, various pet foods, pork sausage casings, and complete feed. And on the top, you see a whole bunch of acronyms. Those are all the viruses that we worked with. And basically, we would take these ingredients and spike that with the virus and then put it through. These are a 37-day model moving from China to Des Moines, basically, or a 30-day model moving from Warsaw, Poland to Des Moines. So this was a real big team effort. South Dakota State University, Kansas State University, Iowa State, again, funded by the Swine Health Information Center. So every time you see a red square with a plus sign in it, that virus lived in that ingredient during either the Trans-Pacific model or the Transatlantic model. And for the context of today's discussion, if you just look at that column, the second column over ASFV, that's African swine fever virus. We actually worked with the actual virus at the Kansas State University Biosafety Level 3 facility with Dr. Megan Niederwerder helping us with that. So that's a pretty amazing feat, is to be able to work with that virus in safe, controlled conditions and really study what it can and can't do. So if we just read down the list here in ASFV, you see it lived in soybean meal. In conventional soybean meal, we mean high protein, low fat. It lived in also what we called organic soybean meal, which was more of an extruded product. It didn't have hexane treatment, so it's lower protein, higher fat. Soy oil cake. And so it lived in all three of the soy products that we import from China or Eastern Europe. It did not live in the DDGs or the lysine. It lived in the choline, and it didn't live in the vitamin D. but you can see it lived in all the remaining ingredients, the different pet foods, the casings, and then the complete feed. And even way down at the bottom, you see one lonely red square called stock virus control. That's the virus by itself in the container that we use to simulate the movement. So it lived even in the absence of a feed matrix, and you see none of the other viruses, all the green there, none of the other viruses could survive without a feed matrix. So African swine fever is very, very stable, and it lives very well in many of the ingredients that we import into our country. So that's how you read this table, and I don't think we need to go through a lot of the other viruses unless you want to, but maybe we can just open it up for some questions or some discussion about this project. But this is new information. The risk of viruses in feed had really never been described before. And our leadership team at Pipestone wanted everybody to have this information. This is not company specific. This is to help protect our nation. So I guess I'll just take any questions, or we can get into more details, whatever you'd like to do, as far as whatever the moderator thinks or whatever the audience wants to ask.